Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is Toby Tompkins, and I'm in New York City, and it is Toby Talk number 11. Um, Today's a really interesting day in that we are beginning the political process that's in our country to figure out who our next leader is going to be, the person who's going to have a significant influence on our lives for our foreseeable futures. Um, and I want to um, have everyone think about this conversation today, which is called Answering the Call to Hate. As we go through the next few months and we listen to the words um, that reveal the hearts and the minds and the thoughts and the deeper intentions of people who want to be our leaders. And more importantly, listen to the narrative that is put in front of you. Is it a narrative of unity? Is it a narrative of strength through full participation? Is it a narrative of engagement, not policing, but engagement? Um, these are going to be some of the things that will be indicators to you whether the words that you are hearing, the actions that you are observing, are rooted. It will help you discern where they are rooted. Are they rooted in love, or are they rooted in hate? Um, so, as we think about what does it take to create a more beautiful America and a more beautiful world, well, we know the answer to that. It takes beautiful leadership. And beautiful leadership is the kind of leadership that can answer the call to hate with love. I'm probably most reminded of this and most inspired by this by the life of Madiba. And Madiba, for those of you who don't know, is Nelson Mandela. And part of what began me on this whole work of beautiful leadership is the realization upon his transition that this was a man who entered prison as a warrior. And after 27 years, he um, emerged from prison as a healer and as a president of a free South Africa. How do you do that? How do you sit in prison and not answer and answer the call to hate with love? Answer the call to hate with compassion. Not weakness, not submission, not oppression, but with compassion, with truth, with reconciliation. And I think that's something that I want us all to think about and stay focused on and you try to frame those questions in our thoughts and in our conversations. Because it's really easy when answering to the call to hate to start from a place of what you don't like, to start from a place of what feels unfair and unjust, and those are going to always be easy things to do. But what I want to encourage us to do is to answer the call to hate with love. Now, I want to remind you of a quote that Nelson Mandela um, said, and it's in his autobiography. And he said that no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart and mind than its opposite. And I think that that is one of the things that I think is really important. I mean, in many living things, we see in them the capacity to love. We see the capacity to fear. Um, but we don't always see in them as an obvious and early um, characteristic the capacity to hate. And when you think back on over your life, and I certainly have, there are people in my life who I would say fall into the category of people that I've hated. But it's a lot harder for me to sustain that than it is to move to forgiveness, to move to dismissal, which is okay, so you hurt me or you deceived me or you betrayed me and you no longer have access to me, which is different from I'm now going to do everything I can do to harm you. So that's a part of the human condition. I don't think we can fully understand love without understanding hate, but it's not about what we understand, it's about what we embrace. And so I'm going to encourage people to think about how you're going to answer the call to hate, because you're going to be getting that call often in every place you go, at least through the rest of the year and perhaps for the next several years, regardless of what political decisions get made by this country, regardless of what laws get enforced or don't get enforced, what protests we have, what victories we win or lose. There will always be, in the human experience, a call to hate. You will always be called on to answer that call with love. So I hope this was helpful today. Once again, let me know if these messages, as many of you are doing, are helpful. Share this message because it is something to really consider as you go throughout your day-to-day. There's going to be someone who's going to look at you the wrong way. I'm moved by the police officer who talked about, and it was in the paper, talked about getting really hateful looks when he was in uniform and getting looks from people in uniform when he's out of uniform, that he's somehow a threat. And he was able to feel the hate in both of those. So when does this person, when do you get to feel love? And you tend to get to feel love when you give it. That's all I have for you today. Keep your spirits high. It's sometimes hard, but it's a choice. I love you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hashtag Toby Tompkins. Hashtag My Trumped Up America.